What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, instead of going ahead and watching some multiplayer gameplay again, I thought that we could always just step it back a bit, go back to some World at War, and hit up the zombies gameplay. Today, we're going to be playing some Derice. I'm playing with the homie Baloney, and we're absolutely stomping out these zombies in this gameplay. Let me tell you guys something. Nothing is better than after a long day of grinding out some obnoxious multiplayer gameplay, just completely grinding through the thick skill-based matchmaking in Modern Warfare. Nothing feels better than just to take a step back, relax, and just dome a bunch of zombies. It's just the ultimate experience, so I hope you guys really do enjoy the gameplay today. But while we're on the topic of Call of Duty World at War, I thought that it would be a perfect time to bring this up, because for those who don't watch my channel that often, or if you're brand new to my channel, and by the way, if you are brand new and you're enjoying the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. It helps you get notified on all the updates on this channel. But besides that point, I always spoke about in the past how I love a simplistic video game. Now, it kind of contradicts what I've been saying in my recent commentaries. I made multiple videos talking about the maps in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and how it's not much variety, and how it's really annoying me. Now, the reason that it annoys me so much is because, come on now, 6 maps, that's kind of ridiculous compared to the past games, and it just doesn't add much variety to the mix. Maps are a very crucial feature when it comes to a video game, and if you don't have a good flow of maps, you're just simply not going to play the game. You could have all the weapons in the world, all the attachments in the world, all the camos in the world to grind for. But even though you have all that content, if you don't have enough maps to actually experience those weapons and moments on, it kind of gets dull really fast. But one thing that I always loved about Call of Duty World at War is the simplicity of this video game. Now, maps are no problem in World at War. They released with tons of maps, so that's not even an issue. But when I say simplicity, I'm talking about the lack of attachments, the lack of weapons, no camos at all. It's a seriously simplistic video game. It's basically Call of Duty 4, but dumbed down a little bit. Not in a bad way, of course. It's a World War II shooter, but it's a lot more simplistic game than Call of Duty 4, and pretty much any other Call of Duty game that was released after World at War. And personally, in my personal book, it's in my top 3 favorite Call of Duty games. My top 3 favorite CODs right now are Call of Duty 4, World at War, and Call of Duty Black Ops 1. Those are my 3 favorite Call of Duty games for very specific reasons that I won't dive deep into this video. Maybe later on, I'll make a little tier list or something like that. Actually, the Dynamite actually hooked me up with that idea on my Discord channel. If you guys want to chat with me on my Discord, link to that is in the description. But I think I'm going to save that for a later commentary. But the simplicity of this video game always drew me in because of the main fact that it focused mainly on gunplay. And that's what makes me love a Call of Duty video game. You know, it could have tons of stuff to grind for. It could be a massive grinding element. But I mentioned this in some of my past videos, that even if it's a massive grinding element, if I can't just simply sit there and play the video game, I'm not going to enjoy it. You know, that goes for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Massive grinding factor. You know, Damascus takes ages to get. Tons of different camos that you can get for all those weapons. Tons of attachments, tons of weapon selections. It's a lot of stuff that's in Modern Warfare. And after the year cycle of this video game, Infinity Ward was successfully able to make it a jam-packed content video game. But at the end of the day, the gameplay just simply isn't fun for me. Now, I'm not speaking for everyone, because obviously there is a massive crowd of people out there who do enjoy Modern Warfare, but for me personally, the gameplay was very dull and boring, and because of those main factors, I can't play this game. The only way I could possibly play Modern Warfare is if I have a full team of friends that I can communicate with and chat with, and usually 9 times out of 10, we're not even competing in the games or anything like that. We're just holding casual conversations, and Modern Warfare is just kind of like the background music. You know, you're just casually playing Modern Warfare while you're just talking to your friends. That's the only way I could possibly enjoy Modern Warfare. But if I'm going to sit there, grind out this video game, try to grind ranks, try to grind camos, try to grind anything, I just simply cannot enjoy this video game because of the gameplay. Now, here we are with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and there are a few things here and there that are kind of obnoxious, let's be honest here. The lack of maps. I know some people don't even enjoy the maps. Me personally, I like the map designs. I think they're great, and even though it's a lack of content, I'll still be able to play on each and every one and still have a good experience, but there are some people out there who hate all the maps and think they're all bad, so that's a bad sign. Skill-based matchmaking is really thick in this video game. There's a lot of issues that are going on with this title, but there is one thing that stands out over everything when it comes to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and it completely reminds me of Call of Duty World at War, and that's the gameplay of Black Ops Cold War. And this will easily outweigh any negative in this title. Yes, I make rants, but I make rants for a reason. I have to tend to the YouTube algorithm. If people like rants, if that's what you guys like to listen to, that's the content I'm going to make. But that's not going to be the deciding factor of whether I enjoyed this video game or not. I think this is personally one of my top favorite Call of Duty games. Even though it was just in the beta, I absolutely had a blast. And if the game continues to play like it did play in the beta, it will probably be in my top 3 favorite Black Ops games. Probably right next to Black Ops 1. If it stays playing the exact same way that it did in the beta. Now, there are some negative things that they tuned in the game. They messed around with slide canceling again. I know some people are pretty happy that slide canceling is being completely removed from the game. Me personally, I liked it. I thought it was another skill gap, just like jump shotting, drop shotting, all that stuff. Slide canceling added another skill gap into the game that kind of differentiated the good players from the bad players. So if you're stubborn and not going to learn how to slide cancel, you're just going to get pub stomped out by players who were able to learn how to slide cancel. It added a nice little skill gap into the gameplay. But even removing the slide canceling doesn't really affect me, because I remember back in the beta, even though I did use slide canceling every once in a while, it wasn't as effective as Modern Warfare slide canceling. It wasn't as smooth, it wasn't as fluent, so I didn't even bother slide canceling that often. I just kind of slid into cover, or slid around corners, or something of that sort, but I never really slide canceled to an OBJ, or slide canceled to, get a jump on the map or anything like that, and get a jump on their spawn so I can catch them off guard. I never really used it like I used it in Modern Warfare, so that doesn't really affect me, that the fact that they nerfed slide canceling again. It does annoy me, don't get me wrong, it definitely annoys me. I don't enjoy that choice, but it doesn't really officially affect my opinion on this title. But the gameplay is going to completely save this title. I'm 110% positive of this. I know not everybody's going to share the same opinion as me. I know everybody has a different opinion about this game. I know tons of people hate it. I know tons of people don't even think it's a Treyarch video game. I know tons of people hate the maps, like I said. Some people just don't care to compete in the skill-based matchmaking that's going to be in this video game. There's millions of reasons why some people don't want to move on to Cold War. But for me personally, it's simply the gameplay. The lack of maps annoy me. The lack of content annoys me. But at the end of the day, I will be able to play this game simply because I can run around, I can gun people out, and I can have a good time. When you play Black Ops Cold War, you can feel a skill gap in that video game. Even though, like I said, they removed slide canceling all this stuff, you can feel the skill gap. When I get into an engagement, it's not like Modern Warfare where I die and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what the hell just happened? Like, how did that even go out? How did he just kill me like that? Because in Modern Warfare, anybody can kill anything. You know what I'm saying? The guns kill in 2 seconds. You can have some random noob sitting across the map with a RAM or a Val or M4 with a ACOG scope on it, and they'll 2 to 3 tap you across the map with no skill required. But in Cold War, they upped the time to kill, they actually reduced the flinch, and it just feels like the gunfights are more legit, less about luck and more about skill. And that's what I like out of a video game. I like games that give you a skill gap, and Call of Duty has been lacking that over the last 5+ years. Honestly, I know a lot of people are going to say this is stupid, but I think Jetpack Call of Duty games were the last time we saw a skill gap in a Call of Duty game. And maybe not 5+ years then. That's probably 2 to 3+ years we saw a skill gap in COD. And the main reason why I say Jetpack Call of Duty games were the last game we saw skill in is because of the jetpacks. People who knew how to use the jetpacks, people who knew how to abuse the jetpacks, were clearly going to outskill the people who couldn't use the jetpacks. And there was a massive divide between the noobs and the skilled players just because of that one simple factor. Some people didn't want to adapt to the jetpacks, so they didn't. They ran around the ground, they camped in the corners like they usually did, but the people who could adapt, the people who did learn how to use jetpacks, they were able to strafe with the jetpacks, they were able to jump around corners with the jetpacks, they were able to surprise people with the jetpacks, which means that they, 9 times out of 10, are going to win the majority of the gunfights because they know the movement a little bit better. But once the jetpack phase ended and World War II came on out, that's when the skill gap decreased again. And we saw people camping, noobs being rewarded. Even with Black Ops 4, they raised the time to kill just like in Cold War. But that didn't necessarily mean it was a massive skill gap. Noobs were still able to get a bunch of shock drones, annihilator pistols, miniguns coming out of their arms. It was so much cheese in Black Ops 4 that is what completely turned me off of that video game. If you go back on my channel and look at my Black Ops 4 content, you will see tons of rants on there, basically talking about how noob-friendly this video game is, and that was my major turnoff. It could have been something great. It could have been one of the best Call of Duty games in my personal opinion, but they rewarded the noob players way too often. But in Cold War, that's not the case. I'm absolutely loving it. The proximity mines are a rechargeable upgrade, so you can't use them every 2 seconds. You have to wait a certain amount of time, like 2-3 minutes, just to get one mine, which is amazing, so no more Claymore or bouncing Betty spam. The streaks are very hard to obtain. Yes, sometimes there will be UAV spam, but the majority of the stuff like the chopper gunners or the AC-130s, anything like that, it takes skill to get. You're not just going to be able to, camp in one corner and be able to streak up. Everybody's like, well, this streak system is so noob-friendly. When in reality, it's not noob-friendly at all. If anything, it's anti-noob friendly. It does not reward the noobs whatsoever, because you need to learn how to be able to play OBJ while at the same time going on kill streaks without dying, which is a very complex thing to do if you're not a skilled player. You need to learn how to go risk your life and take B flag, which is right smack dab in the middle of the map where everybody's going to see you, without dying. You need to be able to obtain a streak while still being able to play those OBJ points, whether it's hard point domination, it doesn't matter. You need to be able to do both, which requires a lot of skill, which means it's for more of the experienced players. No flinch. I argued this a lot in the past, even though some people think it's very noob friendly because they don't have to worry about flinch, but what flinch does is it gives you way too many lucky headshots. You have a lot more noobs being able to just get shot in the chest, and while they're aiming at your feet and you shot them in the chest, their gun flies straight up to your dome and they one-tap you. You know, things like that are very obnoxious in old school Call of Duty games. But that's what it was all about. It was all about protecting the noob. And for one time, I actually feel like a Call of Duty game is based around an experienced player. I really do not remember the last time I played a Call of Duty game that was based around good players. Let's be honest here. Even in the Jetpack Call of Duty games, even in those video games, and I stated clearly that I think they're more skilled than the previous games that we have now, they're still noob friendly. Black Ops 3 had a bunch of specialist abilities. Infinite Warfare had a bunch of specialist abilities. There was cheese everywhere for new players to pick up and dominate lobbies. Black Ops 4 fires shotguns, Modern Warfare fires shotguns, Vals, M4s, MP5s, Black Ops 4 with the shot. It's so many things that allow new players to benefit and get a better advantage over good players that it ruins my personal experience. And yes, there still is a grind factor in all those games, and people are still able to play them the full year. I can't complain too much. I played all those games the full year. But at the end of the day, I didn't genuinely have an absolutely amazing time. Like I said, when I get into a gunfight and I lost, the majority of those games, I didn't sit there and say, you know what? Wow, he actually outgunned me. I wonder what he did. What gun is he using? What attachments are he using? You see, I don't think that in those past games, but in Cold War, I do. I contemplate every single death because everything is logical. Everything makes sense. When I die from something, it's either I have a wrong perk on, I'm not using the right attachments, maybe I'm using the wrong gun on the wrong map. Everything fits together nicely. But only time can tell if this game is going to continue in the same path that it did from the beta and be a fun game to play. You know, things can change when the game completely releases. They could have completely changed the whole outlook of the game, the complete movement system, the weapons. They could have added bouncing betties to the lethals. We don't know what the full game is going to look like. But if it's anything like the beta, I think I'm going to have a really good time because it wasn't noob friendly at all and really focused on the skilled players. And that's great because it makes the new players want to become better, and they're going to try to improve. They're going to look at the skilled players and be like, oh wow, well they're using this, they're using that, let me try that. And it's going to be a really competitive game, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be really fun. But guys, thanks so much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, and by all means, if you hated it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. Also, want to chat with me, there's two ways to do so. I have a Twitter and a Discord. Both those links are down in the description. And also, want to catch me live stream some video games, I do that over on Twitch. Link to that is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.